Hey guys, how's it going? So today I did do a review of a new game called Cassette Beasts. I did the review and I played more than an hour of the game, like I usually do in my first impression review videos and all of that kind of stuff. And then after I had a look at my recording, I realized that the game basically caused my recording to freeze. It happens, like, honestly, it's happened maybe twice in the past couple of years. It happens very infrequently, and it happens due to poorly ported games. In both of the cases where it happened, like I said, during the past probably 3 or 4 years, it happened maybe twice. Both of the times it was on poorly ported games that are ported over from console to PC, and it was done poorly, exceptionally poorly, in fact. So poor to the point where the developers basically give zero thought or afterthought for streamers or people who are going to want to record footage of the game. And so when you record footage of the game, it simply doesn't work. Now, it does work if you know how to bypass the issue, because there's an issue. You can bypass it by using a different capture method, but with 99.5% of the games, the capture method that I use works. With 99.5 games, it works. It's only with these poorly ported console games that specific capture method in my capture software does not work. And so you need to be aware of the fact that it doesn't work, that the game does have that issue, and then you need to switch to the different capture method. But anyway, let me get to the point. I did the review. You can see over here, I recorded over an hour of my gameplay of the game, and I speak throughout the entire hour of the gameplay. I give my opinion, I tell you what's good about the game, what's bad about the game, all of that kind of stuff. But now, like I said, I basically captured no footage of the game because it stuck. It's literally stuck. You can see here already 30 minutes there we got unstuck. So around here somewhere it got unstuck, and then boom, it got stuck on this screen, and then for the next couple of minutes we're on that screen, and then for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes we are on this screen. So you see the capture issue. This is an issue that only happens on poorly ported console games. So what I'm gonna do instead is just give you my opinion, give you my findings and my opinion, my final opinion on the game that I gave in the video in any way. So obviously, as always with all of my first impression reviews, I tell you guys that I'm going to be playing the game for an hour or whatever. Sometimes I play it for longer than an hour. Thankfully, this time I did not play it for much longer than an hour, because sometimes I play a game for 3 or 4 hours if the game is good. And then in this case, I would have only realized that the recording and the game is basically broken after the 4 hours. Fortunately, I only realized it after the first hour, so I basically just lost an hour. But I played the game. I gave you my opinion in the end of the video. I always give you guys my opinion at the end of the video. So I am basically just going to summarize my opinion on the game. So obviously the game is $20. The game's name is Cassette Beasts. It's on Steam. The original pricing of the game is terrible, exceptionally terrible. In fact, that isn't an issue of the developers, that is an issue of the publisher. So the publisher Raw Fury, unfortunately, have recently gotten into the disgusting habit of making the original pricing on their games really bad. So that's one thing that I already would make me not want to support this game. So the regional pricing is exceptionally terrible, unfortunately. The game also has no mouse support at all. The game has no voice acting. The game has a really stupid stamina system whereby you can literally sprint for 1 second and then you are stunned for 1 second. And then after a cooldown period, you can once again run for 1 second and then you're stunned for 1 second. It is the stupidest stamina system that I've probably ever seen in any game. It's very close to the idiotic stamina system that they have in the Zelda Breath of the Wild and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom system. It's a really idiotic stamina system. But this game took the idioticness of that game and turned it to 11. So the stamina system is exceptionally terrible. There's also a large lack of tooltips. There's a lot of missing tooltips in the game, and a lot of the tooltips that are there simply are useless. The music is also really terrible. If I stay quiet for 10 seconds, you can hear the music, which in my opinion is terrible. Obviously, music is subjective, but a review is also subjective. So this entire video is subjective, and in my subjective opinion, the music is terrible. So give it a listen for 10 seconds. So that's literally the music. Like, it almost feels like the developers paid someone who has a mediocre guitar talent $200 and said, okay, here, sit in front of this microphone and just play whatever, play a little bit of music, and that's the music for the game. Like, it honestly feels very poor, and in my opinion it doesn't match at all with the feeling of the game. Like, the feeling and the setting of the game is monster capture, monster battling, turn-based RPG similar to Pokemon. So you have monsters and they battle against each other, and you record the monsters on cassette tapes for some bloody reason instead of in balls or in cubes or anything like that. They chose to go with cassette tapes, which don't make a whole lot of sense, but anyway. And in a game like that, you don't want slow, melodic, acoustic guitar music. Like, it might just be me, but that seems like a really odd choice to have acoustic guitar slowly playing while you're battling a monster. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I just do not like the music. The game also, like I said, is very poorly ported. There's no mouse support. The keyboard controls are really bad. There's a lack of screen display options, so you can only choose full screen or windowed. There's no borderless full screen display mode, which is really bad, and there's no borderless windowed mode either. So there's only windowed mode and full screen mode. There's no borderless full screen and there's no borderless windowed. So those are two options. Basically 50% of the options that you would normally expect in a well-designed game are completely missing. So that is also really quite bad. And really, at the end of the day, the game is nothing special. It doesn't really do anything that like impressed me. And when you have a game that has this many problems, like this many problems that I've mentioned, you really need a really good game in order to counterbalance all of that badness. You know, you need a really good game to make up for all of the other really bad things in the game. Like I said, no mouse support, no voice acting, a really stupid stamina system which makes you walk through the entire bloody game, terrible regional pricing, really bad tooltips, really terrible music, it's a bad console port, all of that stuff. And then on top of that, you have a game that is just mediocre. So really, at the end of the day, I can't come even close to recommending the game. Maybe if they somehow fixed the mouse support, added some voice acting, got rid of the obtuse keyboard controls, you use bloody page up and down on the keyboard. Like, what game in 2023 uses page up and down on the keyboard? It's absolutely idiotic. If they got rid of all of that, they fixed the regional pricing, they added some nice music, they made the game actually have some good screen display options, then maybe I could recommend the game. Maybe, you know, it's just $20. $20 isn't a huge amount, but honestly, right now I wouldn't even pay $5 for this game, because there are so many other games in this genre that are exceptionally good. You know, just look at Coromon. Coromon is really good, and it's also $20. And Monster Sanctuary is also really good, and it's also $20. So there are a lot of really good Pokemon games in the genre, you know, turn-based monster collector, monster battling games similar to Pokemon. There's a whole bunch of them, so you can't have a game that is as bad as this and still charge $20, because there are some really good games in the genre, like Monster Sanctuary and like Coromon, that are $20 and are absolutely fantastic. So this game honestly cannot compete in this genre at $20. It can't even come close to being as good as Coromon or Monster Sanctuary. I would almost recommend Pokemon, but honestly, Pokemon, Nintendo don't deserve your money. So, and even the official Nintendo games, the official Pokemon games are really bad. I like Pokemon, but I don't play the official Pokemon games. I play the quote-unquote unofficial Pokemon games like Poke MMO and those types of games. They are much better than the official Pokemon games. They feature way more Pokemon than the official Pokemon games, because for some fucking reason the smart, quote-unquote smart people at Nintendo decided to cut like 50% of the Pokemon from the roster in their games. So Why would you want to pay $60 to get not even half of the Pokemon when you can play exactly the same graphics game, exactly the same turn-based battle system, exactly the same open world and all of that in a game that is free and features nearly all of the Pokemon? I think the one game, Poke MMO, has something like 900 Pokemon, which is almost all of the Pokemon, and it looks exactly the same as the Pokemon games. So why the holy hell would you pay $60 to Nintendo when you can get a better game with the exact same control scheme and play style and all of that, with more Pokemon, a bigger variety of Pokemon, with exactly the same stats and exactly the same movesets and exactly the same animations for free? Like, why would you give Nintendo $60? So it's basically the same with this game, Cassette Beasts. There are simply better games in the genre, and Cassette Beasts has no right to charge $20 when there are games like Coromon or Monster Sanctuary that it is competing against. Honestly, I can't even come close to recommending Cassette Beasts. So yeah, that is my review. That is the conclusion that I reached after playing the game for more than an hour. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much my opinion. The developer sent me code for the game, so thanks a lot to them for sending me code, but honestly, in my opinion, the game needs a lot of work before it is something that I can come even close to recommending. I can totally recommend Monster Sanctuary or Coromon if you're looking for a game similar to Pokemon, but I just can't recommend this game. There's simply too many issues. So yeah, guys, I would have wanted to maybe stream the game a little bit just to show you guys, you know, but honestly, like, you can't stream this game. This game is with the freezing and the stuttering and all of that, like, it can't be streamed. So it's quite unfortunate, but what can you do? The game is a really bad console port, to be honest. So yeah, guys, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.